We're back. All of us are back.
Hooray.
I've missed a couple, haven't I?
Hi,
I
everyone.
think so. It's good to have you here.
Welcome to the Website 101 twice monthly live YouTube lunch bites. I don't know. These titles are getting longer and longer and longer. I'm Amanda, and with me is Mike, not Sean. Mike, you need to change your title.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Also
What?
here again, finally, is Sean.
Hey, everybody. Can somebody explain the mic not Sean? I just noticed that.
Well, we just noticed that we can. We realized last time we can change these.
We can add
Titles.
titles.
Yeah, and I don't know why I put
Mike,
that one.
Mike made his title be not Sean.
Okay. Yeah, anyways, life got in the way. I think I missed 2 of these in a row, which not great, but here I am.
Yeah,
We're glad to have you back.
we are indeed. So what's happening web-wise with you guys? Anything you want to talk about?
Not a lot for me.
Not web-wise, but as I explained to the two of you before we started, I might have to bounce at any minute because I had a phone appointment with my doctor this morning at 9:45. And then they finally called at 10:45 while I was talking to a client. And of course, if I don't answer the call, it's going to be considered not showing up for the appointment, and I'm going to have to pay for it, and et cetera, whatever. So I muted the client, and I went over and I was like, it's been an hour. I'm talking to a client. Can you call me back in like 15, 30 minutes? And they said, yes, 30 minutes. That works for me. Goodbye. And it's now been 45 minutes, and I still have not heard from them again. So
Well, that's fine. Sorry about that. That sounds annoying.
It is
We'll
annoying.
Soldier on
Like-
if we have to.
no, I know that, but it's just more of a, like, doctor appointments are kind of important. Like, why? I don't know.
I got I got a flu vaccine and a COVID vaccine on Saturday, and oh my God! Normally I just get a sore arm, but these things knocked me out for 2.5 days. I
Wow.
felt like I
Wow.
had the flu. It was really bad.
Did you have to make an appointment for that?
No, I went to the Costco pharmacy.
Oh,
okay.
that's right. They can do that at pharmacies. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, any
Maybe I'll
pharmacy.
just go to
usually-
the shoppers near me.
Yeah,
I
you
usually
don't
just
need
go to,
appointments.
sometimes you need to make an appointment with the shoppers.
Oh, really?
There's one in walking distance and 2 more inside of a 2-minute drive. So, they're like Tim Hortons. They're everywhere.
Yeah, they are, but sometimes
Yeah.
they won't / make you.
So non-web related, as you saw, I have a cat and he just came wandering on screen. He's been doing some interesting things the last couple of days. Usually, like, he'll meow at you and he wants you to go play with his toys and whatever. But this morning, he meowed at me and he walked right past his toys and I had to follow him upstairs. And then what did he do? He lied down right next to the hairbrush. And I had to brush him for 15 minutes.
You had to.
Yes, because if I walked away, which I went to the washroom partway through, he would just meow at me until I came back.
Oh. I'd say bring
He likes
the
the
hairbrush
grooming.
down to your office, Sean. Maybe
Yeah.
that's
Maybe I should get a second one. But
Cats sound more needy than kids, so you enjoy.
yeah.
You have that.
but they're also more independent than kids and dogs.
Yeah, let's not get into the dog versus cat argument.
I still say that I would prefer a dog because you know how much they like you. They get excited, but hey, I'm not allergic to cats apparently, according to my allergist. So I'm gonna
Yeah,
stick
that's
with the
amazing.
cat.
We have an extra dog in our house right now. We're dog sitting a second dog, so
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
yeah, she's a little apprehensive. She's a tiny little dog compared to mine, so whatever.
How long do you have this dog for?
Just the day.
Oh, that's nothing then.
Yeah, till like 4 or something. Yeah. All right, so I have something I was going to bring up to you guys that is web related.
Fire away.
I heard
share.
about on another podcast, as usual. I heard this story. This was a while ago. I'm going to kind of mess up the story a little bit, but generally, this is the idea. Have you ever heard of performance-based pricing for web projects?
No.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I can kind of guess, but please clarify.
yeah. The story on the podcast was that in the States, there was this contract that a company bid for to build a website and an app for some organization that oversees camping kind of bookings, like if you or like a campground, national parks, stuff like that, where you go, I want to visit this thing, or I want to camp here, I got to rent a campsite, something like that. Okay.
Okay.
So they're redoing their site. This company bid on it. And the story goes, they said, we'll build this app, we'll build the site for no money or very little money. But what we want is when you start charging people to enter your parks, add $1 to the fee, and that goes to us. And they made $500 million by doing that. That's what this, again, the details of how much they charged extra, how much they charged for the original project, a little bit murky, but generally the subject line, the title of the episode was how to make a $500 million website or something like that. So the idea, of course, is that we're not going to bill you for the website build, just when it does well, we start to get paid along with you. And the idea in this case is that the campers maybe wouldn't even feel the extra dollar, or maybe it was even taken off of what was already part of the fee. I don't know how that went. But the campers are happy. They have a nice, shiny new website that works really well. The government body or whatever is happy because they have more people using it. And the developer's happy because they made $500 million. And I was just trying to think of, is this something that we could have? Is there any way you can think that this could work in our practices? Sean,
I think
go.
I need to do e-commerce, because then I could bake it into like every transaction, add a 50-cent fee or whatever, and that goes to me. Other than that, I don't know how you would set up a way to bill, like every 10,000 visits, I get $100. Like I don't know how that would work.
Exactly.
And I don't know that anybody would agree to that. E-commerce makes the most sense.
I mean, even with e-commerce, you'd still have to get sign off from your client, and there would be.
Yes.
But yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like if it hits this many visits a month, then you owe me. But then it would be like you'd have to go back to your client later and say, hey, look, you've got this many visits. Give me more money, please. And that, it would feel weird, I think. So
Yeah,
not sure that
and
would work too
also
well.
how would the client know that you're not sending bots or something to visit the site? Like you got to know that
Yeah.
they're authentic visits.
I'm sure the client wouldn't even think of that.
I would.
Maybe.
I mean, I wouldn't do it,
but how
but
often,
I would be
how
thinking
often,
about it.
But how often are clients that technical?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I heard this story and I just thought, man, that's interesting.
I think it's
but I agree. I
brilliant,
don't think
honestly.
yeah, if it went as well, if that's actually how if it's true story, and I think it is, then it's pretty amazing. Because they had like yearly, it was like over the next 10 years, they had projections of this year we'll make this much. And they had people, it's in the States, right? So they had people in the millions booking these campsites or visiting campgrounds. That's like $1 million per million people that they would bring in if they had $1 per transaction, right? So you can see how it adds up really quickly in a large market like the States. But yeah, I don't know if it would work with, I mean, I work with a lot of nonprofits, so the whole idea of performance-based pricing, it feels a little
You
gross.
got to take a 1% of every donation,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not sure it would work.
and then you're hurting the nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would work for select industries, mostly e-commerce, and select clients within those, like ones where you know that they're going to be making a ton of money and you can charge them a tiny fee per transaction or something. $1 seems a lot, Even if it was like 50 cents, they still would have made bank.
Yeah, exactly. And most people wouldn't notice it, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you
I
just put
feel
it
like,
as like park transaction fee. Boom.
yeah. I think that from the developer's perspective, developer or the agency perspective, you need to be in a comfortable enough position financially to have the chutzpah to even suggest something like that.
Yeah, although I could see the benefit of being able to say, look, we're not going to charge you anything to build the site, or very little, like a fraction of what we would normally charge. Like that could be attractive, I guess, because
No,
they
no,
did
but
that
I just,
presumably during the pitch process as well, right?
yeah, but I just mean like for themselves to even take on that gamble.
Yeah. Oh, that's
yeah,
right. Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you
true.
need to have money in the bank or a steady stream of income to be able to allocate resources to something that you're not making money off of until it launches.
Yeah, that's right. Even after, well, probably well after it launches, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I have another thing I can bring up if you'd like me to move on.
Please
Fire
do.
away.
Feel free to jump in if anyone has something to add. So I should have been demoing this whole thing because, but whatever, I didn't. Maybe I will on a later episode. But here's the scenario, and I'm wondering what you guys would do. So we use content builders in our websites a lot. So for those who don't know, in a lot of content management systems, there is a type of field you can add where you can add blocks of content. So ours, we use craft. The field is called matrix. So you have like, a call to action or a photo or a block of code, whatever, block of text. You can add all these blocks, reorder them, and it sort of builds a page out in the order that you want. That's how a content builder works. We do that a lot. I'm wondering, what's your process for when you want to add a block that doesn't need to be in the content builder? It just needs to be on one particular page, which is already built out with the content builder. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep, and it's a really simple solution in Craft 5. They have a new field type called content block, coincidentally. And then you can just add fields to that and drag it into any entry you want. So I worked with one agency that they used it to create heroes. So they would have like depending on the section, they would have a video hero or whatever, and they would add in the different fields that belong to it and just drag it into the entry type at the top.
Yeah, but so I'm familiar with that, but I haven't used it at all. So maybe I'm not understanding. But if you have a page, let's say you have a services page that's built out with your content builder, right? It has all the blocks that are available in there. And you want a new block as the third block there. And you don't want them to be able to add that new thing on any other page. The thing you're describing would do that?
So you mean in the middle of the content builder?
Yes, only
No,
on one
sorry,
page.
I misunderstood what you wanted. So no.
Yeah. So yeah, what I mean is like, you'd have, again, I should be demoing
Oh,
the thing.
actually, I have a potential thought on how you could achieve this. Conditionals.
Okay.
So I don't
Yeah.
have a site open in front of me, but I know that you can set up entry conditionals. So you could put in there an entry conditional that it's this entry type or this entry section. And then I'm pretty sure you can add in other restrictions so that it's only one per entry and things like that. Look into the entry conditionals.
But
I
where
think
would
you
you
could-
add, where would you add like, where are you creating the thing that's being added? Like, is it in a template or is it you know what I'm saying?
I think I need to open up a site so I can explain it better. And I'm not quite
Okay.
ready.
I'm looking at a site right now, and in the matrix field, when you add a new block type, you cannot do conditionals there in the middle of the matrix. But I think what Sean was saying was that, let me go to, when you are creating a section, and let me just pick a random one, and when you drag a field sorry, this is like an older version of Craft. When you drag a field onto it, I think that they have conditions there. So while,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. And like I said, this is an older, oh, it still has conditions. So here, let me share my screen because I've actually got
Alright.
this
Please do.
happening right now. Share my screen, entire screen.
I'm going to look up my thing as well. I think I have a page.
So here is, and again, this is an older version of Craft, so it might look a little bit different. But here is my default entry type for news, for the news section. And I've got all of the different types of fields down here. And when I click on one of these to change the settings of it, you know how you can change the labels and the instructions. So it's got entry conditions,
Yes. This is what I
or
was
also
talking
current
about.
user condition. So you could add a rule that's based on probably slug, based on, well, I mean, entry type, like I'm in that entry type, so I don't know that that would actually work. But probably for slug.
So, Amanda, what did you click on to get that sliding panel open again? Which
Oh,
thing
I
did
just,
you...
the settings for the field, or edit the field.
Right.
Oh,
So
and
now
this
if
is
you...
Craft 4.
Yeah, but I'm trying to
It's
think
the
of
same,
like...
it's the same with 5.
But
But like I said, this is just for an individual field
Yeah.
that is not a part of the content builder matrix.
Right, right. And I think I've done that. I'm pretty sure I've done that with entry condition before, yeah. Where it only shows up at, yeah. Yeah, right. Okay, well, let me explain how I've decided that I'm doing it. It's clunky and it's not ideal, but I wonder what your thoughts are. What I've done is I've created in my matrix, so this is, you're going to come up with objections based, whatever. I'll just describe it. In my content builder matrix field,
Sean,
I have a
just
field
shut up and let
called-
Mike explain it.
I have a, I have a field called template, I think it's called. All right. When you add that block to your matrix field, it asks you for a template group and a template name, just 2 plain text fields. So what I've been doing is I would add, as the template group, I would add snippets. And then as the template name, it would be whatever the one-off thing is, one-off, let's say. And you put that wherever you want in the matrix there. And at the template level, in that template called one-off, I write all the code that displays whatever it is I want to display. Now, the problem with that, of course, is the truth is, unlike what I said earlier, they can add it. They can add that template block wherever they want on any page. But the problem is, or the difference is they would have to know what to add to make something show up. And what I'm trying to get to is a point where they just don't touch it. Like, this is a admin type block, don't use it. I was going to add like a big notice at the top that says, this is for Mike only, or whatever, something like that. But basically that's what I've decided is I add a block that fetches a template and then I do all the coding in the template itself. So that way I can add a particular element, write all the code in a template, and then call it anywhere I want in the matrix field. So that's what I've done. It works well. It's not ideal because they do have the ability to add that. If someone starts poking around, what's template mean, and starts entering things, it's going to break a lot of weird stuff, right? Yeah, go, Sean.
So in that template field, you can add a user condition so that only you can access it.
But not
You
if it's
just saw
in
it?
the matrix. But not if it's in the matrix, though, right?
No,
Isn't that-
you can add it. You can add
With-
a user condition. I haven't used them personally, but there's a whole section there. We just saw it on Amanda's screen share.
But
where
that
you
wasn't
can-
in matrix.
It's not
That
in a
wasn't
matrix field.
That was for but that was a field setting, not
Yeah, so
a
I'm
block
talking about the
type in a
template.
matrix.
I'm talking about, you said you're adding a template. Mike, maybe you can share your screen, Mike, because
Well, let me see if I can find it. Yeah,
properly.
I see if I can, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this without sharing all kinds of stuff about this client. So I'll have to, hold on, maybe I'll, no, I don't know. It's not going to work. I'll dig it up some other time, but
I have
Maybe we can share off screen then.
I have
yeah,
a
I can
really
definitely do that. Yeah.
I have a really gross suggestion,
Oh, good.
which is funny. So there is a plugin that we've used before that I've gotten from both of you to be able to do a little bit of styling in the craft control panel.
CPCSS?
Yes. So I need to make this really big so that you can, too big, Amanda. This is going to be the grossest suggestion ever. Share my screen again. So using that plugin, you could use this here. So that instead of you set up some CSS so that if the H1, like use the selector, for the whatever page, if the H1 title equals this page here, then show that matrix selector and otherwise hide it.
So preventing them from being able to add that thing, in other words, right?
Yeah, unless they're on that actual page. Because, so like,
Yeah.
oh, this is different. This is using a different thing. But like, hide that
Yeah.
unless
Yeah.
the CSS selector matches the H1 title.
Or even matches, yeah, well, I guess there's a bunch of ways you could do it.
I looked
Yeah,
to see, unfortunately, the slug value of the page is not on any HTML. Well, actually, it would be, because it would be the value.
The entry ID
of,
would be there.
Yeah.
well, the entry ID, but then also like the value of this field. Right. Value teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would use the ID because the client could choose to change the slug at some point.
Oh, no, for sure. But going that far, I would just display it and just tell the client, hey, this is specifically for this page. Don't use it anywhere else. And then if they
Yeah.
do, that's on them.
Well, yeah, and that's where I'm at now. Like, if anyone adds a block called template that they don't even know what it does, and it has a notice at the top that says, do not use this, this is for admin purposes only, and they start adding, like, that's like a nuclear option of, the disaster.
That's on
So,
them.
yeah, exactly. So I'm not worried
That's-
about it that way, but I
yeah,
feel like there
think-
should be a better way to do what I'm suggesting, where you have a content field, content builder, and every page is generally made up of those, but the odd page might need an extra one that you don't want to show up elsewhere. And this is what MatrixMate did, isn't it, Sean? Where you could hide
Yeah.
certain matrix blocks from things for certain reasons, right? I think.
Yeah. Well, what you could choose to do is create a whole new content builder, add all of the blocks from the existing builder plus this unique one,
Yeah.
and then add that to that section or entry type only. And
Yeah.
because they're all using the same matrix blocks, you should be able to transfer the content. I would check it first, but
Yeah.
it should work.
Yeah, the fact that you can now reuse the entry types that are used in the matrix field makes that
Yeah.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
That's true.
I think that might work. I'm not going to say it's a guarantee, but I would definitely look into it if it's going to improve your user experience.
Yeah. Okay. Well, those are all good ideas.
Well, they're
I'm
ideas.
I'm kind of surprised there's not an option in Matrix that says this particular block, I want it to only be there based on these rules or something to that effect.
Sounds like a
Kinda
feature
surprises me.
request to me.
Might be a feature request. You're right.
And it would, you add those entry types to your matrix block, and it's already got a thing like a menu option to move it up or down. They just have to add a conditionals option there. The site
Yeah.
craft is supposed to be like really easy to add conditional things.
Yeah.
I think that it's something they could do.
And the conditionals that would solve it if they just add conditionals in Matrix, right?
I would
Which I'm
plus
sure they
one
will.
that, because I can see a lot of uses for that.
Yeah. I'm sure they're on
I-
their way there.
I want one content builder, the source of truth, but on this particular entry type, I don't want them to have access to block A
Yeah.
or entry
Yeah.
type A. Or I only want entry type C to be able to use once per entry.
Right. Or
I
only a
really
certain
see that this
user
is
or something.
as being an option that would be really helpful. Hopefully, it's
I
something
have-
that gets added to Craft 6 or later.
So here's a question though, because we all set up our content builder the same with the matrix field, and then these are all of the different types that you can add to it. I know that in the FCK editor, you can actually like kind of do it reverse, so that in the middle of this FCK editor, the content that you're typing, you can have a block be added to that content field. So I can see how some people would kind of go the other way and kind of make it work like the WordPress editor,
Yeah.
where it's like it is just one great big content block, and then you just like drag in the different blocks that you want. I wonder if the FCK editor blocks have conditionals like that.
Well, that's a good question.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, Amanda, because just yesterday I struggled a lot with one of those CK editor inline block things because, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but as far as I can tell, it's not easy to, let's say you have a CK editor field with rich text in it, and then you have a pull quote block that you've embedded in there. But the CK editor field is itself part of a field that has other fields. You know what I mean? So let's say you have a title and a background color and the CK editor rich text field. That's all one field with multiple blocks in it. You know what I mean? Like you can add fields in. I think it's really difficult to get that embedded pull quote block to recognize the background color. That's one level up from the CK editor field. I was trying for 2 hours to get this to work, and AI gave me all these weird suggestions about coding the template differently and stuff. I could be wrong, but I think those inline blocks in CK editor are like it just displays the block and it doesn't have all this awareness of other fields and stuff. So I'm wondering if what you're suggesting, that would be it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I built a personal site using the CK editor inline content builder. I don't like it
I don't know.
because you're forced to put the templates for the blocks in a specific folder. Whereas when I'm building, I often will put the templates because they might look different depending on the section they're in. So I'll put them inside that section's template. So if it's the news section, it'll be news and a blocks folder. If it's the services section, it'd be services and blocks folder. So I can style them differently as needed. But if you're using the CK editor approach, you're not allowed to do that, so you have to do other workarounds. So, you might, in your main template for that block, you might have if entry type is services, go to this other nested. I just find it not as easy to work with. Like you can do what I want. It's just more complicated.
Yeah, I've run into that same problem where I
So
don't want things in that folder, but I have to put them there.
Yeah, the partials folder. So I just decided to just continue using the matrix block as it is. I like the idea of the CK editor because I think it's a little bit more intuitive, or UI is nicer for the client, but it's clunkier for coding in my opinion.
Yeah. I've been using it for special things like a news, when someone's adding a news article and they can only add things like pull quotes, images, and maybe one other thing. I don't use it for page builders, but I would use it for like a news article type stuff.
I think that makes more sense for a very limited approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's noon. We did it. Should we call it there?
Yay!
We've asked a bunch of questions, and You had some answers there.
Yeah, it was. Anyways, it was good to be here, guys. I should be here regularly again. So.
That's good. We're glad to have you back. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.